Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use Paula's Choice Advanced Replenishing Toner, which is suitable for normal to dry skin, and it can be used daily in the morning and or evening. Now you can use this toner on its own or include it in your current skincare routine. This toner can be used along with any other skincare products which you may have at home. This toner contains a nice blend of fatty acids, antioxidants and hyaluronic acid. So overall it's a great toner that helps to hydrate and plumps the skin, as well as to restore the skin barrier and to protect the skin from any environmental damage and overall free radicals. And so when using this toner, the major concern may be how much you're going to use and when should you add it into your skincare routine, and if it's even fine to use it on its own, because not everyone has the same skin concerns. And so I have prepared for you some example skincare routines, and later on I want to show you the application with how much you need to use as well, so that you can see it all visually. Now, the example skincare routines that I have prepared for you are just examples, so that you can see the order of application as well as the optional steps and what's not optional, what is still important to do when just keeping the focus on a toner alone. But overall, you can adjust it to your needs. If you have a different skin type, you may have other skin issues, just replace the product with one of my examples, but it won't change the step. So if you now say, well, I want to use this toner in my morning skincare routine, then an example could look like this. You're going to get started with washing your face using a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. Rinse it off, pat the skin dry. Then move on to Paula's Choice Advanced Replenishing Toner, apply to the skin, leave it on the skin. And then you can stop right there and then just follow with sun protection when being exposed to the sun, and that's it. Or if you now say, well, I have other serums and treatments at home that I do want to include, then use them after your toning step, but before your moisturizer with SPF or regular sunscreen, so that you have an idea of the overall application. Once you have applied your serums and treatments, you're going to leave them on the skin, there's no need to wash it off, and then follow with sun protection during daytime when being exposed to direct sunlight. So this would be an example of the order of application of a morning skincare routine. However, if you now say, well, I want to use it in the evening instead, or I do want to use it in my evening routine as well, but at the same time I have an exfoliant at home, can I include it, and if so, after what step should I use it? Yes, that's fine, you can go ahead and do so. So an evening routine could look like this. You're going to get started with washing your face using a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. Now if you have a leave-on exfoliant at home, or you're working with exfoliating acids in general, please only use a gentle cleanser, like a non-exfoliating acid cleanser. Or in the evening you may want to do a double cleanse as well to properly remove sunscreen and or makeup. So you would use an oil or balm cleanser at first and then your gentle cleanser. So overall, the cleansing step is still the first step. Wash your face with your cleanser, rinse it off, pat the skin dry. Then move on to Paula's Choice Advanced Replenishing Toner, apply it to the skin. And after that you can follow with your exfoliant if you have one at home. This can be an exfoliating acid toner, this can be an exfoliating acid solution, liquid or even serum. So that would be the third step. So you cleanse at first, then use your toner, then the exfoliant. And after that, if you have any serums and treatments at home, those would be now the next steps. And then you follow with a moisturizer if you should feel the need, making sure that it is suitable for your skin type and needs. And so this would be an example of an evening skincare routine. But again, you can keep it very simple and just wash your face with your cleanser and use a toner, and that's it. So you do not necessarily need to use an exfoliant, serums and treatments and or moisturizer in that specific routine. Now overall, it does say that this toner is great for normal to dry skin, but I still would argue that with most of Paula's Choice toners, that they are great for all skin types in general, because they are very lightweight and hydrating, and so therefore I just can say, well, if you have an oilier skin type and you're going to adjust the rest of your skincare routine, you still can use that one, and it feels great and lightweight on the skin. So do not hesitate. If you have an oilier skin type and you want to give it a try, you are going to enjoy it really well. So this would be just another additional tip that I want to share with you. But overall, when it comes to now the application and how much you need to use, this is now what I wanted to get into. So I have some example products right here. I have a cleanser, the toner, exfoliating acid, serums, moisturizer, sunscreen. So of course, this is just an example. I'm going to keep my focus on a morning skincare routine, and I want to keep it as simple as possible and keep my focus on the cleansing step, the toning step, as well as sun protection, because the other ones are optional steps which you can do, but you do not have to if you do not have them at home. So again, the first step is going to be washing your face with a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. I have one that's great for dry to very dry skin, which is Paula's Choice Softening Cream Cleanser. This is just one example. If you have an exfoliating as a cleanser at home or another gentle cleanser at home that's suitable for your skin type and needs, go ahead and use that one. Just make sure to read on the back of the packaging on how you should use it. Do you have to apply it on dry skin, on wet skin? How do you need to rinse it off, or just remove it the dry way? Of course, go ahead and follow that specific guide, and read please also if you can use it around the eyes or if you should avoid the eye area. Now in this case, I need to apply the cleanser on wet skin and I need to rinse it off with water. So this is now what I'm going to do. So the first step is going to be now wetting my face, neck and hands with lukewarm water to warm water, and then I'm going to apply the cleanser onto wet skin. So let's go ahead and do this. Use about a coin-size amount of your cleanser, or about 1 to 2 pumps in the palm of your hand. Then massage it between your hands and gently massage it all over your face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute. So, and once you have massaged the cleanser all over your face and neck, you now can go ahead and rinse it off with lukewarm water to warm water. Either by just using your hands, if that's fine, go ahead and do so. Or if you still should have some troubles and you may feel like there's still some moisture left on the skin, use a fresh and soft washcloth, which you're going to wet in between, and this can help you to remove the cleanser a bit better. Which is especially great if you're doing this in the evening and trying to remove sunscreen and or makeup. So now go ahead and take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. So once you have washed your face, you have pat the skin dry, then now you can immediately move on to the next step, which is applying Paula's Choice Advanced Replenishing Toner. And so when using it, it has a bit more of a thicker serum-like texture, which first of all means that you do not need to use a lot of product to be able to blend it all over your face and neck. And you can either apply it with your hands or use a cotton pad. Whatever method you're going to do is totally up to you. Both methods are fine, just go with what you prefer the most. I'm going to show you a general guide with a cotton pad as well as when dispensing the product in the palm of your hand. Of course, feel free to adjust it if you feel like it's not enough, but it's important to not overdo it. So go ahead and take Paula's Choice Advanced Replenishing Toner, and if you now say, well, I want to apply it with a cotton pad, take a fresh and soft cotton pad and dispense about a coin-size amount onto the cotton pad. About that much, more or less. And you can see that I haven't soaked up the entire cotton pad. This is actually what I wanted to teach you. You do not need to soak up the entire cotton pad to have enough product for your face and neck. Because if you're going to soak up the entire cotton pad, you are first of all wasting a lot of product of your toner. And second of all, you're going to end up with too much product on the skin. You should have enough to evenly blend it all over. And you should feel that your skin feels slightly damp, but not completely wet. So please keep this in mind when applying the toner with a cotton pad. When it comes to dispensing some product in the palm of your hand, since it has a thicker texture, you can really nicely count the drops. And this is where I want to share with you an overall general guide and use between like 3 to 4 drops as a great start. However, if you feel like it's not going to be enough, depending on where you want to blend it, then you can add a couple of drops more, like between 6 drops. But I wouldn't go over that amount because then it can become quite a lot, which you actually do not need. And so when dispensing the product in the palm of your hand, I'm going to use 4 drops. Then rub your hands together and gently blend it all over your face and neck. Now again, you should be able to blend it evenly all over where you want to apply it, which with the 4 drops that I have used, I'm able to do so. And while I'm blending, I can feel that I have enough product so that it feels slightly damp all over, but at the same time, I can feel that it is able to properly absorb into the skin and that there's no residue left. So that's kind of the feeling that the way on how I described it, that you should get when using the toner. Your skin shouldn't feel completely wet, because if it does, this can often lead to problems. In some cases to sensitivity, like overall irritation, but mainly with using a toner and applying too much of it, it's more about the feeling that it can give you, which may become uncomfortable because it sits on top of the skin and it cannot fully absorb into the skin because you have used too much. But at the same time, when layering other skincare products afterwards, you may come across an overall uncomfortable feeling because you smear around the products since it isn't able to fully absorb into the skin, or it can cause pilling. So you want to avoid those issues, and therefore the amount of product that you're going to apply to your face and neck does play a big role. And so once you have applied your toner to the face and neck, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, if you felt, well, it was already absorbing while I blended it, then there's no need to wait in between. You can immediately move on to the next step if you want to. However, if you feel like it's still slightly damp, then give it about 30 seconds to a minute in between before moving on to the next step. But again, I do want to quickly emphasize, it's fine to use the toner on its own. So it's fine to just cleanse your face, use the toner, and that's it. And during daytime, don't forget to follow with sun protection. And there you have it. So you can keep it really simple. However, if you now say I have an exfoliant and serums at home as well, and a moisturizer, I do want to include them as well, then now the next step after your toning step would be an exfoliant if you have one at home. Again, it's fine to skip it and then immediately move on to your serums and treatments. But the third step is going to be your exfoliant. I have a few examples right here, which are all great for normal to dry skin. Those are all AHAs, but again, feel free to adjust it. If you have a PHA at home, if you have a BHA at home, which is salicylic acid, or an AHA like glycolic, lactic, or mandelic acid, exfoliating acids at home, it's fine to include them in your skincare routine. Just make sure that you're choosing the right one for your skin type and needs. One thing that won't change is the overall general guide on how much you're going to use. So if you have an exfoliant that has a very thin texture and kind of feels, and the way on how you're going to use it, similar to a toner where you can either dispense some product on a cotton pad or in the palm of your hand, and it has a very thin texture like Paula's Choice 2% BHA. That one has a very thin texture. Use between 5 to 8 drops in the palm of your hand. Use about a coin size amount on your cotton pad and then gently swipe it across your face and neck. If you should have an exfoliant with a pump, use between 1 to 2 pumps. Or if you have an exfoliant with a dropper, then depending on the texture, if it's very thin, use between 5 to 8 drops. If you have an exfoliant that has a thicker serum-like texture, again, use between 3 to 4 drops. So the same guide really matters on how much you're going to use. When working with exfoliating acids, do not use too much, because again, it is more likely to cause irritation, since it can sit on top of the skin. If you're using too much of it, then it actually can benefit your skin concerns. Therefore, don't forget the overall general guide that I have shared with you, and based on that you can adjust it if you should feel the need, but try it at first with that general guide and then see how it goes. Then after you have applied your exfoliant, if it is a leave-on exfoliant, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Then you would move on to any serums and treatments. Again, when it comes to a general guide on serums and treatments, it's pretty similar to what I just showed you with the exfoliating acids. If you have a serum with a pipette, use between 5 to 8 drops if it has a very thin texture. If it has a thicker texture, use between 3 to 4 drops for your face and neck. If you have a serum with a pump, between 1 to 2 pump. And that's basically it. The other point that I do want to emphasize is if you should have a treatment that has like a gel-like texture or cream-like texture, then use about a pea-size amount so that you can evenly apply it all over. And then once you have applied your serums, treatments, then you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then after your serums and your treatments, you then can follow on with a moisturizer in the morning and or evening, depending on your skin type and needs. Use a moisturizer that's working well for your skin type. Make sure that it won't clog any pores, that it feels comfortable on the skin. If you have a moisturizer that has a pump, such as Paula's Choice Omega Plus Complex Moisturizer, which is great for normal to dry skin, however, I find it great for all skin types, then use between 1 through 3 pumps, depending on how much comes out the pump, then of course adjust it, but you should be able to use enough product to evenly blend it all over. If you have a drier skin type, you may want to use a bit more. If you have like normal to an oilier skin type and you're looking into lotions or gels, use just a very thin layer all over. This should really do it. And this was just a general guide when it comes to a pump. If you have a moisturizer in a jar, just dip your finger in it and then evenly blend it all over. So I'm giving you like an overall general guide. This is how much I usually like to use for myself. Now keep in mind, I do not have dry skin. I would call it more so normal to combination. So this is usually the amount that I like to go for. If I'm using more than that, it feels quite heavy on the skin. So of course it depends on the feeling overall that you enjoy as well. Once you have applied your moisturizer, leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now after that, you can go ahead and use some moisturizer in the morning and or evening, and then when being exposed to the sun during daytime, you follow with a regular sunscreen. However, you can also go ahead and use your moisturizer only in the evening without SPF, and use a separate moisturizer that already contains SPF during daytime. And then when it comes to the sun protection, again, make sure that you're using a sunscreen or moisturizer with SPF that feels comfortable on the skin. It shouldn't feel oily on the skin. It shouldn't feel extremely uncomfortable, stinging or burning on the skin. Like, it shouldn't irritate your skin or eyes in any way. So therefore, one great example would be Paula's Choice Restoring Moisturizer with SPF 50. This is just an example. If you have a different one, go ahead and use that one. When it comes to the sun protection, apply 10 to 15 minutes before like being exposed to the sun, or immediately in the morning. Doesn't matter if you're being outside or not, go ahead and apply it. It's going to be your last step in your morning skincare routine, but you're going to use it before applying makeup if you want to apply makeup afterwards. And so as a guide, use between half a teaspoon for your face and neck and about 1 teaspoon for your face, neck and décolletage. Now this is just an overall guide to give you a visual understanding that you need to use quite a lot of product to evenly blend it all over, because you want to protect the skin. So if you have not evenly blended it all over due to the amount of product that you're going to use, then it still can give you some sun damage, and therefore that's what we're trying to avoid. So I like to go with my teaspoon guide. Of course, once you know how much you need to use, you do not need to use a teaspoon all the time when applying a sunscreen, but it should give you a visual understanding. This is just about like making sure that you understand how much product you need to use. So about that much, more or less, for your face and neck. Of course, it also depends on the sunscreen that you're using and the overall formulation. If you feel like half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon for your face, neck and décolletage is way too much with the sunscreen that you're using, of course you need to adjust it. So then reduce the amount. If you feel like based on the texture of your sunscreen that's not enough, then use a bit more. So this just should give you a visual understanding of how much you need to use, and then see with how much product you can actually blend it all over your face, neck and your décolletage. So, and once you have applied your moisturizer with SPF and or sunscreen all over your face and neck, then you're going to stop right here. That's basically the last step in your morning skincare routine. And again, remember, in the evening there's no sun protection needed and you just can finish with your usual moisturizer. And so this is what I wanted to share with you on how you can use Paula's Choice Advanced Replenishing Toner and how you can include it in a skincare routine so that you have an idea of how you can work with it. And if you now say, well, I want to see the application of an exfoliant and those serums and treatments, I have several videos on my YouTube channel and I'm going to link some of them at the end of this video so that you can see the application of them as well. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye!